Well, welcome back to the Portsmouth Terminal Railway. It's been a while. I think my last update was in July. Uh, Had a lot of things going on, and that's why there's been no word from this little world of mine. Joined a model railroad club, the Northern Virginia Model Railroaders, and that's taken up a great deal of my time, spare time anyway. Work has been pretty hectic, and it's going to get even more hectic. I just got a word on a really big promotion that will take place in January, so that's going to take a lot more time away from what I've been doing. But just wanted to give you a quick update. There's a few new things on the railroad from the last time. And so here's just a quick overview of everything, and then we'll kind of start pointing the camera at specific things. So let's get to it. So a couple new things are, you might have noticed from the last update, this whole area was all pink and had a lot more track in it. But these buildings weren't here as I'm slowly filling in this Main Street area. I've got a service station that's going to be going in here. And these are just basic kits from Walters. I really like the Walters Cornerstone Series kits. Service station and the freight house that I've been wanting to do that's going to be right in next to the yard that I finally got. Pretty much built. I got a little more weathering to do on it and some more detail parts and things like that, and a lot more weathering to do on the service station. But those are those two things. I've also got the engine shed pretty much done. I can't remember my last video if this was even there in its pristine form or if I hadn't done it at all, but just finally got around to finishing it up and putting all the little trim pieces on, weathering it, getting some of the detail parts in there. There's going to be a lot more detail parts on this thing when I'm all done. And eventually there'll be a dirt road that comes around behind it and comes into a little parking lot, dirt parking lot right here. So this type of area isn't all finalized, but I'm pretty pleased with how that turned out. It's got a nice, well-used look to it. The big thing going on right now is, as you can see, the yard's gone. It's because I ripped it all up. I have never been pleased with these Atlas switches I've had on here. Atlas track was what I'd known from when I was into N-scale 30 years ago when I first drifted away from the hobby, and so that was naturally where I turned. And so that's what I bought when I got all the track work for this thing, and I've never been pleased with them. The point work on these things isn't to my liking. My rolling saw call doesn't roll on these things very well. Electrical continuity through them isn't that great. Trying to get them to switch properly, the points on some of them aren't the best out of the box, and trying to work on the, it's just too much work. I shouldn't have to do all this, considering that switches like Picos are out there and work wonderfully right out of the box. Really, really high quality. I love that feature, not having to do these gargantuan ground throws that just look terrible. Rolling stock all rolls through these Pico switches beautifully, and I should have done this from the beginning, but I didn't. So, I got the switches on the way from the yard. I actually had them, and the company I ordered them from sent me the wrong one. They sent me Electrofrog instead of Insulfrogs, so I'm waiting for those to get exchanged. But once I do that, I'll redo the yard. I pulled up the yard because that's the area I hadn't seen it yet. None of this track work was ballasted down, so I figured this is the easiest to do. And once I get that all in and to my liking, I think I'm going to wind up biting the bullet after the holidays and just replace all of these Atlas switches and just be done with it and get rid of the ground throws. And actually start to do some switching on my railroad. Scenery-wise, you've all seen this corner over here. I haven't got a whole lot more done with it. I've roughed in the roads. Remember the area I'd actually paved ends right here. This is just painted over the foam, the insulation foam that I had down. I just wanted to paint over all this to keep it from being all pink. Obviously that's pink because I pulled the yard up. But and I also wanted to get a better idea of where this whole road was going to be set up. As you can tell through all these things, that most model railroaders will have their railroads, everything about them planned out. Not not me. I had the track plan planned out, and that was it when I started this. Everything else was, I was just gonna play it by ear and see where it went. And so, obviously I'm learning some lessons, things I do differently with the next layout. But that's, hey, you live and learn. This is my first real actual layout after all these years of model railroading. So this will all be paved. I'm going to have a little dirt road will come off the end of the pavement and come around, like I said, behind the engine house down to here. And the yard office will go in right there. And this section right here is going to have another set of commercial buildings. So I'll make this like a little commercial, actual downtown district instead of just one set of buildings. I'll make it a real downtown looking area. And other scenery, I've done some more work right here and back here in the corner. I got this corner all done finally. As you remember the last one, I think the scenery ended right here, and this was all pink back in toward the Smutty Nose Brewing Company. So I got all that scenic up, getting a little bit better. So that's where she stands right now, and hopefully soon I'll have a yard put in and give you a little bit better look at this thing. And thanks for viewing as usual. I'll try not to go months and months between the next update, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks again for watching.